What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can attack zone coverage, okay? So this is going to be the second video that I've made on this. I get this request all the time asking about zone coverage, so this is going to be a great example of how outside receivers and slot receivers can beat zone coverage, how you guys can attack this blind spot, and how you guys can sell vertical, and why that's so important to get some separation, okay? And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get better hands, I talk about this all the time, and you don't have a quarterback to throw to you, check out that link in the description. It says improve your hands in 30 days, full 30-day catching program, guaranteed to help your hands improve your grip strength, hand-eye coordination, repetition drills to help your hands improve. We got to be able to finish the play, guys, and that's the best program for you to be able to do that. Let's get started. So now, first things first here when Dez Bryant comes out the line here. Dez is one of the best at attacking zone and attacking that blind spot on this like kind of corner post route where he takes 3 steps. Very important that we know when this DB's in zone, right? When that DB's kind of facing towards the middle of the field, I mean, it could be an off-man situation, right? It could be a couple of different things. If he's outside leverage, maybe he's got safety help over the middle, but same principle applies when it is zone coverage. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here, okay? So now it's watch at full speed. So you see how when he attacks him, he's attacking this leverage and he's closing the distance, trying to get to his weak hip, right? And takes 3 steps to that blind spot. So when we come off the line here, we should not change up my speed when it's zone coverage. You know what I mean? Let's attack him. Let's try to push vertical and let's try to attack this weak hip as fast as possible, as quick as possible to try to get him on the defensive, try to get him out of there, right? If I can do that and I could get him to maybe at least shift to the outside or really close the distance to that hip, that's what's going to get him more susceptible to speed turn out of there, right? And the whole goal is to get him to speed turn, try to get him to believe the outside move, right? So when Bryant comes up here and he makes this break to the outside, bam, he takes 3 steps, 3 yard steps to this blind spot. Now, the reason why the blind spot's so important against zone coverage is because this DB is going to be going off of feel, right? So if we get him to lean to the inside or shoot it, and we get him to feel our presence to the outside, right? I know that sounds a little bit too technical, but feel us to the outside, feel us behind this blind spot, it's going to force him to want to speed turn because maybe one time I've come out and I've closed the gap with him and I've given him this pressure step, this vertical set, and I beat him outside. I beat him to this fade, right? And he doesn't want that to happen again. That's how you guys can build off of this. The routes you run before this situation hits you in a game, that's what sets up your separation against zone coverage, right? You give him that pressure step, you try to get him to sit to the inside, 3 hard steps to this blind spot, right? So again, it's 1, 2, 3, and I pop this thing off. This is a great spot to be in because he does not know where I'm at. That's the key here. You want to make sure that he does not know where you're at. He's going off the field. He's guessing. He's trying to anticipate what you're going to do, and we pop this thing off. If we could get to this situation, we will get open, right? We get to this situation where the DB does not have eyes on me. He's speed turning out of there. I'll be able to rip this thing back underneath and create some space. That's a great job here by Dez Bryant using this thing on that like corner post concept. Let's watch it again full speed. The next clip, we're also going to, or in a clip, not the next clip, but the one after that, we're also going to be talking about blind spot again and how that can help you guys on the outside, okay? Not so much out of the slot. So let's watch it again full speed here. 3 steps to that blind spot, break this thing off. Make sure you're in a situation where he cannot see you and he is going off of field. When we get the DB to go off of field, that's when we get some separation, okay? So now we're going to be looking at this route from Emmanuel Sanders this week, and it's very important that we see where's this DB looking, right? Looking in the backfield. So we're not going to talk too much about coverages, right? I talk about that mainly on my website, but when you see his eyes here, that's zone coverage eyes. And then when he bails and opens up out of there, that is zone. He's trying to keep everything in front of him. He does not want to get beat to the outside. So what can you guys use as a receiver to try to get some separation right now? Your speed. It's as simple as that. If you guys can trust your speed and you trust your hips, you trust your break leg, you trust their ability to just be able to cut on a dime. That's why it's so important that when you work any kind of cutting drills, any kind of route running drills, that it's always in a situation where you guys are working being full speed because that's what gets you space. Right now, let's watch it full speed. So you see how he's coming out of here, gets that DB to turn his hips, pops it off right now. You see how sudden he is with that break. That is such a dang good route because of just the way he's able to create space and what he does leading up into that. So now, it brings me back to my point. When you guys are working any kind of route running drills, any kind of stick drills where you got to cut, any kind of drills where you got to break down, the most important thing is making it realistic, right? I cannot stand the coaches who set up freaking 85 cones and you got to run around it. And the fact of the matter is the cones are 5 yards apart. It's like you're never going to, you might have to make a 5-yard break, maybe one route, like a freaking hitch, and you're working them to do this quick foot fire, beat the drum around the cones. The problem with that is when you get into a route like this and you got to go 12, 15 yards downfield and be able to cut on a dime and try to get some separation against a legit corner, you ain't going to have confidence in that because the only confidence you have is within this 5-yard range. So you're going to slow down, you're going to chop your feet, and then you're going to get into the break, and that's why this DB's all over you. But if you guys can work on the situations where you're running full speed and able to cut on a dime, that's when you guys are going to start getting more confident with your route running and be able to create space, right? Because you see how well Sanders comes out here? He does not break stride. He does not slow down. He keeps a great pad level the whole way throughout. This is how you get space. This is how you sell vertical. We talk about it all the time. Oh, you got to sell fade. Everything's a fade till it's not. This is how you do that, because you have to have good pad level, got to have speed, got to have the same stride, and be able to cut right on a dime. So you see how he's running full speed, sudden. You see how sudden he is with that cut leg. That's what the key is, right? Anytime, again, it brings me back to zone coverage. Anytime we're against zone, wasted motion is so important to get rid of, right? Because here's the thing, if I break right here and I maybe drift, he's going to speed turn. That's an easy play for him. If I'm telegraphing this move and I reach out and I lean my chest back, he's going to telegraph this thing and probably try to slow down, right? But if I come out here and I push vertical, because I'm selling vertical, I am a vertical threat, and that's what gets this DB to turn his hips, because he does not want to get beat over the top. Trust me on that. When you're a DB here, you don't want to get, and you're in zone, like maybe this is like cover 3, cover 4, whatever it is, you do not want to get beat over the top. You do not want to get beat deep. So if we can threaten him with that, and that's why I say it's so important to close the gap. I close the gap, close the gap, close the gap. That's what's going to get him to be on his heels or be bailing out of there fast, be running stride for stride with us, and that forces the speed turn. And especially when I'm sudden and I don't telegraph the move, that helps me get out of this break a little bit faster. That's a great job here by Sanders, selling vertical, getting this DB to turn his hips, and now forcing him to speed turn out of there. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. That's a great job. Again, got to sell vertical. You guys got to get used to making change of direction cuts or breaking down or whatever in stride, running full speed, making that break downfield rather than slowing down and preparing for the route and then preparing for the drill like you guys do with the 85 cones and the obstacle course drills. That's not correct. You guys want to be working game, live situations where you're able to run and be able to drop in stride and get out of the break. Okay, so let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So great job pushing vertical. Being a vertical threat against zone coverage is so important. Being sudden and accelerating off the break is how you get space. So now I know this is a little tough to see. We're going to be looking at the top of the screen here. Dez Bryant against zone coverage again, right? So we're going to be talking about how a little speed change to that blind spot and that weak hip can get you guys some space, especially when you got to run a fade. So let's watch it again full speed. So you see how he's here. He gets a little speed change, tempo change, and then we accelerate over the top, and you see the separation he's able to get, and that's a lot of space at this level, right? In the NFL, that's a ton of space. So you see when he comes off the line, where does he angle his stem, right? He's angling his stem to this blind spot. DB thinks he's playing him well. Yeah, I'm forcing him to the sideline. I'm stacking him. It's fine. I'm playing this thing correctly. This sideline, that's a very tough throw for the quarterback to make. Now, however, how we can get space here is maybe a couple times previous to this play, I'm running, I attack that weak hip, and maybe I break it down and run a dig. Maybe I snap it off and run a curl. Maybe I snap it off and run a comeback. So I get this DB thinking about that, right? He thinks about that break. He thinks about me slowing everything down. So now what I do is I come out here, I give that little speed change, that little hesitation skip, and he's sitting down on it. He wants to break on this thing. He's thinking, nah, never again. So that's how it can all build, right? If you might start this thing off by beating him with a fade one time against zone. Maybe you're not even getting the ball. Let's say he's bailing out like this. You give a violent head fake to the inside, maybe get him sitting on the post, then let's beat him to the outside. Then maybe one time I do the exact same thing. I attack his blind spot, I give him a head fake, and then I break it down and run a comeback, or I break it down and run a stop route. Now he's thinking about that. Now again, I come back at him. Let's say I got him on a fade. You got him right where you want him. We come off and we give this little hesitation skip. Now he's thinking about that comeback. He doesn't want to get beat again. And then that's when we burn him over the top, and that's when we take him deep. That's how you could set up a route. 3 different ways to run 3 different routes right there. It's just the setup varies, right? You could do it backwards, you could do it forwards, however you want to structure those routes, but you got to make sure that it all looks somewhat similar and it's built off the somewhat of the same route. Let's watch this thing again full speed one more time. Great job attacking zone here by Dez Bryant. Again, getting in that blind spot, attack the weak hip, give that little hesitation skip, get him sitting on it. You guys got a zone heavy team. That's what you should be working, especially on the outside. You guys see the corners that like to play cover 3, they like to play cover 4. However it is, you see a zone heavy team. You should be structuring your routes, working that blind spot all week, attacking that weak hip, working that pressure step, working that vertical set, working on dropping things off on a dime. That's how you guys got to prepare. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to get better hands, check out that link in the description. Improve your hands in 30 days. Only 30 days program, full month-long program to get you ready to get your hands improved. And then also, guys, if you have any questions, any comments, anything, leave that in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you guys next time.